Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Girls Who Like Hoops podcast. I'm Tori. I hope you guys are having a great week. First things first, please like, subscribe, follow me on whatever you listen to this on to stay up to date on new episodes. I personally, it's Black History Month and I have a dream. I have a dream that one day, sometime very soon, I'll have at least 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Or, I'm not even gonna get picky. If we can hit 900 by the end of the month, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take it. I'm not above begging. I'm not. Anyways, I did want to come on here this week. There was no episode last week just because I had nothing to say of value. I was like, I'm not even going to waste y'all's time. I'm not going to waste y'all's time. I don't want to waste my time. So I went on Twitter and on TikTok and I let you guys know. So if you want to know, when there's going to be new episodes, if there's not going to be an episode, when I'm going on hiatus/break, I'm always over there on Twitter or on TikTok, okay? Or honestly, I've been on Instagram a little bit more. So if you want to follow the Instagram page, that's sort of kind of for this podcast, but sort of kind of not really. I'm figuring out what's going on over there on Instagram. Anyways, but everything is linked in the link tree below. Please feel free to get in the comments and share your thoughts and opinions on things. I really enjoy listening to other people's thoughts. It's honestly how I create mine. And I'm very excited to talk about the one-on-one bracket. It's changed a lot. I made a video, or actually I made 5 or 6 videos this weekend on TikTok of my initial bracket, and then they had to go and change some things. Some people, aren't going to be participating. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some trades because some people asked me about that as well. And we're kind of just going to go team by team, and then we're going to go on about our business. I'm not going to keep y'all long. I personally kind of start checking out of most leagues that I'm interested in or teams that I'm interested in towards the end of the season, just because I feel like I know what I'm getting from a lot of them already. And I will say that I think anybody can win on any given night. But at the same time, you can kind of recognize early on, what are the habits that this team has? And then a lot of the times, the ones that the habits they have at the beginning of the season are the ones that we see throughout. And obviously, there's exceptions to the rules. Like the Connecticut Sun, they were out there. They were not winning games last season, but they had heart the whole way through, especially in the back half of the season. They didn't go down without a fight. So that was a pleasant surprise. But for the most part, I don't think I don't think either of the teams that are at the bottom of the standings not going to the playoffs will be changing. And that's okay. That's okay. So this week we're just going to go team by team or whatever. But first, I do want to start with my one-on-one bracket. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you guys long. I'm going to try to do 35 minutes and then stop there. I don't even know if I'm going to have predictions for next week because I really don't even... I'm just not locked in. I'm just not locked in to watch, and I'm so sorry. I'm trying. It's just if I'm not excited, I won't even sit here and lie to y'all. Let's get into the basketball first, the one-on-one bracket. Pod A. We're going to do this because they updated the bracket and everything. I made some videos on TikTok. And speaking of that video on TikTok, actually, some people have gotten beside themselves, okay? Last year, Breanna Stewart went out there and she played one-on-one first round versus Leah Edwards, okay? And unbeknownst to a lot of us, which some of us thought that she didn't look like herself, okay? But she went out there and she played because first season of her league, right? She done co-founded it with Fee, and they went out there, and regardless of her knee being hurt, which we didn't even know about until after the missed season was over and she was taking pictures in the hospital bed. We didn't even know her knee was messed up like that. She went out there and she still was like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to participate in the one-on-one. I respect the hell out of that. I personally wouldn't have been doing nothing like that. I would have been, hey, so this is going to be a bye for Aaliyah Edwards. You go ahead and let her have it. But that's not what she did. No, because Breanna Stewart is Breanna Stewart, a pure hooper, okay? I had people in the comment section telling me when I had the Breanna Stewart versus Aaliyah Edwards in my little bracket, they said, oh, Breanna about to get whooped like she did last year by Aaliyah Edwards, 0-6. What are we talking about? I wish I had as much faith in myself as you do in Stewie. What are we talking about? Breanna Stewart is a 4-time NCAA champion. She's a 3-time WNBA champion, 2-time MVP, single-handedly during the playoffs on a bum knee in a hinged knee brace, dropped 30 points, 9 rebounds. How many assists was it? I got to check my notes. 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and she still went out there and played better than her entire team, who was seemingly healthy. Mind you, multiple time gold medalist. So what are we really talking about here? I got people telling me, oh, one-on-one is different. I'm very aware. None of that changes the fact that she's a pure hooper. And even when she's not healthy, she still goes hard on both ends of the floor. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Breanna Stewart is the person to beat in my mind throughout all this. Like, yeah, there's some good people here on the bracket. I got Paige winning, but we got to be serious, okay? Y'all gonna have to see, this is why you can't even talk about basketball with everybody, because people will just they'll get on here and they'll say anything. They'll get on here and say anything. Stewie, please don't embarrass me. Anyways, all right, so here's my bracket. Pod A, Kelsey Mitchell versus Rachel Bannum. No shade to that lady. It's Kelsey Mitchell. I'm so sorry to Rachel. Like, I just don't even genuinely know what Rachel's going to do with all that. Genuinely. You know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm ready to be proven wrong at any time. But it's Kelsey Mitchell and it's not close, okay? Then we've got Courtney Williams versus Veronica Burton. At first, I initially was taking Courtney because I just know Courtney really loves the money. You know, and she makes it known to the public that she will do anything for that bag. And I believe she has a deep bag, but after watching Veronica Burton play, like, with the Miz this past weekend, I just don't know what Courtney would do with Veronica. Like, I really don't. I really don't. And maybe I'm wrong about this and I'll regret this pick, but I'm taking Veronica Burton. Veronica, like, I feel like she can go out there. She plays some tough defense. I just don't know if Courtney's going to be able to play up to that energy level. And it feels like Veronica Burton has like an insane motor. So I'm going to go with Veronica Burton on this one. And we're just going to pray that my bracket isn't busted in the first round. That's really all we've got at this point. So then after that, we have Kelsey Plum and Natisha Heidemann. And they're in the bye category. So the people that they're supposed to be playing against, they don't have like anybody to play against them, so they're just going to be moved on to the second round, and then we'll come back to this later. Okay, for Pod B, we got Paige Beckers versus Kate Martin. Again, no shade. I like me some Kate. You know, I think she actually had a very good showing the other night versus, I think was it Breeze versus Hive? I think they played each other the other day, and Kate really showed up that game, especially after everybody had been talking trash about her on Twitter. She came back stronger, and I like that. She's got a lot of grit inside, and she gonna be out there trying, but there's nothing she can do with Paige. Genuinely. Nothing she can do with Paige, so I'm taking Paige on that one. Then we got Arike versus Brittany Sykes. Initially, I was taking Brittany Sykes because I feel like a lot of her game is like, the way that she moves on the court and her play style, it feels like the perfect combination of things to where she would play really well in the one-on-one tournament. And a lot of her game is just like getting to the rim and free throws, of course, as I've discussed before. But I don't know. I watched Arike in that same Miss game, but I felt like Arike has really been playing very well this season. And I feel like that level of play that she's at is going to translate. And even last season when she was kind of struggling a bit in the actual games, she still came out in one-on-one and went pretty far in the tournament. So I'm taking Arike on this one. Then we've got Jackie Young versus Isaiah James. I'm taking Jackie Young. Then we've got Chelsea Gray versus Natasha Cloud. I'm taking Chelsea. Then we've got Pod C. Alicia Gray is in the bye category, as well as Saniya Rivers. And so that matchup is going to end up being Alicia versus Saniya in the second round. And then we have Marina Mabry versus Sonia Citron. I heard a lot of people going with Sonia. I feel like Marina is not going to go. She's not going to go out sad like that. Not to a rookie. I don't think she's going to allow that. I personally, there was a part of me that wants to pick Sonia though, just because I did see Marina playing one-on-one versus her siblings on TikTok. And I was like, I don't know. But I'm going to give it to Marina. I'm going to give it to the vet on that one. And then the next matchup is Ryan Howard versus Ray Burrell. I'm sure that Ray is going to be like in it, but there's nothing she can do with Ryan. Ryan, I think, is too crafty. She's quick. She has a good handle on the ball. Like, I think it's the way, Ryan Howard moves like a one-on-one player. And so I feel like I'm going to take Ryan on that one. Ray Burrell, you know, she has been playing a little bit. You know what? We'll get to that later. We ain't even going to get into that right now. Okay. Pod D, we have Breanna Stewart versus Leah Rue. I think it's going to be like a sweet little matchup. Lee, she ain't going to go out sad, but Breanna, she got that. That's about to be light work. Then we have Aaliyah Boston versus Letitia Ami here. And I'm taking Aaliyah Boston. Genuinely, I don't even know what that matchup would look like. And I'm afraid to see it, honestly. And also, Aaliyah Boston has been playing some really great basketball. So, but also, one-on-one is different. It's going to be interesting to see. She has been dominating, though. And I think that she also has a size advantage on Letitia Ami here. So, we'll see what happens. But I'm taking AB. Then we have Dearica Hamby versus Shakira Austin. I'm going with Shakira Austin. Some people have kind of tried to persuade me on Dearica Hamby and her being a vet and everything, but I just think Shakira has really been playing like she's really kind of unlocked her game a little bit more, and I think that I don't know. I think she has a better chance in the matchup versus Dearica Hamby, but I guess we'll see because Dearica Hamby does have a really great motor, so this could go a lot of ways. But I'm gonna hope that Shakira got it. Then lastly, in the first round, we have Aaliyah Edwards versus Dominique Malonga. There were people in the TikTok live chat tonight talking about Dominique's gonna dunk on her. I'm so sorry. We're not there yet. Dunking through contact? No. We're not there yet. It'd be fun. It'd be interesting to see, but I don't think a dunk is gonna win it for you. You know what I'm saying? It would look good. It looked flashy, but I don't foresee it. So I'm going with Aaliyah Edwards on this one. Plus, she did pretty well in the tournament last year, so I have no reason to believe that, it would be any different now. Then for the second round matchups, we have Kelsey Mitchell versus Veronica Burton. I'm taking Kelsey Mitchell. It's going to be an interesting matchup, though, because I think Veronica's going to be able to keep up with her. But at the end of the day, I think that Kelsey is just going to be a little bit faster. Then we have Kelsey Plum versus Natisha Heidemann. I think Natisha Heidemann has a deep bag, but I just don't think it's going to be enough for Kelsey. And also, I don't know. Kelsey Plum's just my favorite player, or like one of my favorites, like top three for me personally. So I'm gonna just take Kelsey off the strength. Plus, I really just want to see a Kelsey versus Kelsey matchup. I think it'd be really fun. And those are also just like two players who kind of, they excel at speed and they're good at, shaking defenders because of that. So I'm interested to see what that looks like going against each other. And then we have Paige Beckers versus Arike Gumbawale. And I want to see that matchup really badly. Like, I think it's going to be really great. I think I'm taking Paige personally just because I feel like she's played one-on-one versus some NBA players. And I feel like her game is just so smooth. And I think she's really crafty. And I think that she does have the size advantage. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, though. And I think it's going to be fun if we end up with this as well, just because they are also both teammates. So it's going to be fun. That's going to be a really fun matchup. Then we have Jackie Young versus Chelsea Gray. I hope if this does happen, again, another like teammate on teammate type of vibe, and I think it'd be really fun. But I'm taking Jackie Young, no question. I just think she has the muscle for it. And I also think like Jackie, I just feel like Jackie's game kind of allows for one-on-one to really work for her. Chelsea's a great shooter, and I think she has a great mind for the game, a great facilitator and passer. I just don't really know, like, if I believe, like, one-on-one Chelsea got that. Not versus Jackie. I think Jackie's quicker. I think Jackie's stronger. It's just, it's a whole thing. But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure they've played one-on-one in practice or something, but it's going to be fun, and I hope we get to see that matchup. Then we have Alicia Gray versus Saniya Rivers. I'm taking Alicia Gray. I am interested to see that matchup just because we've never seen Saniya play one-on-one, so we don't really know what to expect. And obviously, she's a very, like, high-energy player. I think the only thing that makes me not choose Saniya is just we haven't seen her go and like be able to get her buckets the way that you have to in one-on-one, whereas for Alicia we saw that she can do that last year. And then also a lot of her play style in Unrivaled and the WNBA really like lends itself to the skills that you need for one-on-one. So I'm taking Alicia Gray. Then we have Marina Mabrey versus Ryan Howard. Ryan, yeah. And even if she were to play Saniya, I'm still taking Ryan. I just think Ryan is just, she's a 3-level scorer at the end of the day. You know, I do think that Ryan has to work on like efficiency and stuff, but when it comes to one-on-one, I definitely think there's not many people who are beating Ryan. So after that, we've got Breanna Stewart versus Aaliyah Boston. There's a part of me that wants to pick Aaliyah Boston because she's been so dominant, but Breanna Stewart, like I said before, is Breanna Stewart, and I think that she's going to be like the player to beat throughout this entire thing. I think if anybody beats Breanna Stewart before they get to the finals, they might be winning the game. Honestly, they might be winning the tournament, but I'm taking Breanna Stewart in that matchup. Then we have Shakira Austin and Aaliyah Edwards, and that would be fun because they used to play together on the Mystics. I'm taking Aaliyah Edwards in that one just because of how well she played last season. I think it'd be really cool if she ended up playing Breanna Stewart again in the quarterfinals. And then that's the final one for round 2. Now for the quarterfinals, we have Kelsey Mitchell versus Kelsey Plum. It's going to be a really great matchup, but I'm taking Kelsey Plum. Again, I think that they both have similar, they have similar attributes that make them, great players. But I just think that Kelsey Plum is kind of in a different sphere than Kelsey Mitchell, but I'm perfectly fine with being wrong here. It's going to be a great matchup regardless, but Kelsey Plum is one of my favorite players, so I'm going to go ahead and take Kelsey. Then we have Paige versus Jackie Young. I think that would be a really interesting matchup, but I think I'm taking Paige just because of the size, and honestly, I think that that's the reason that I'm taking Paige for most of these matchups. But I think, it's going to be great if that ends up being the matchup. I think Jackie's obviously going to hold her own, but at the end of the day, I just think Paige is a little bit more crafty. And, she's been put in, a lot of situations where you can kind of see the skills that are needed for one-on-one. And I think it's just going to be a really great matchup. So I'm excited for that. Then we have Alicia Gray versus Ryan Howard. I hope that's the matchup we get. Again, those are 2 teammates, 2 great friends, outside of, the league, but also, teammates, have played together. And I would be very interested to see that one-on-one. I think when we saw that matchup with the team, it's very different because it is the team, but they both play hard on defense. So that one will really just be whoever just doesn't get tired, whoever shot is falling, I think that's who wins that matchup. But I'm going to take Alicia Gray. Then we have Breanna Stewart versus Aaliyah Edwards, which would be a rematch of the first round from the first season. And I'm taking Breanna Stewart on that one. I don't know. I think Aaliyah Edwards, she really has the body to play in the post, but I think for the same reason that I'm taking Paige, I think I would take Breanna Stewart, a proven player, can kind of just go out there and get anything they want. So I'm going with that. Then for the semifinals, we have Kelsey Plum versus Paige Beckers. That would be a really great matchup, and I hope that's what ends up happening. I think the both of them have had exciting games versus each other, and I think that matchup, even the WNBA, is very exciting to watch, and it's proven to always be a fun and exciting matchup in Unrivaled. So it would go down to the wire, I think, but I'm taking Paige on that one just because of her length. Yes, Kelsey Plum is fast, but Paige is also young. She has that length to, defend, make shots tough. And again, I just think her game is just a little bit more polished. But Kelsey Plum, if she were to win that matchup, I wouldn't be mad at it. Then we have Alicia Gray versus Breanna Stewart, and then I'm taking Breanna Stewart. Okay, for the finals, I have Paige Beckers versus Breanna Stewart. I'm personally taking Paige. I took Paige the first time I did the bracket, and when I did it again on TikTok Live and again now, I think it would be, at first I was thinking Breanna Stewart because I was it would be a redemption arc, last year, hurt knee, but when, I was healthy enough, I was able to make it to the finals and I won, and that would just be cinematic almost. Fee won the first year, Breanna Stewart wins the second year, and maybe in the third year we end up with those two matched up. Now that would be tea. But I don't think that would happen because they would both be competing in the same pod. So that matchup would come earlier. But it would be Saniya. Anyways, but I think even though all of those things are true, and I think that Breanna Stewart is a great player, again, I just think that, I don't know. I think Paige's game just kind of, it makes more sense to me that she would win the finals. This is a completely biased take entirely, but I'm taking Paige. But if Breanna won, I wouldn't be mad at it. But I'm really excited for these matchups, and I think it's just going to be super fun. Like, guys, this is going to be amazing. I hope I win. I hope my bracket is like 100% correct. I hope it's more correct than anybody's in the world. But if you want to do the bracket, it closes today that I'm posting this at 7 p.m. So hopefully, you listen to this before it's too late. Anyways. Okay, I said a lot of things in this next batch about like injuries and trades and the research that I did. I repeated myself a little bit, but just follow me, okay? I'm gonna get us there, but it was really hard to edit it, so just give me a second, okay? Love me through this moment. And remember, it's Black History Month. It's Black History Month. Okay, now let's talk about some injuries and trades. It was determined that Aaron McDonald is going to be out for the season. And so because of that, I don't know if it's because of that solely that trades are happening now, but I'm going to be honest, things are kind of like really confusing and not like 100% transparent when it comes to the trades in the league. And then also like even with the one-on-one tournament and with, what's the other thing? Oh yeah, with the development pool. So we found out that the development pool does like, they do scrimmages to like stay in shape and be game ready in case they get called up. But the thing is that when people have been needed to be called up, there's only been 3 players who have actually like played or like been on the bench, like might play, and that's Isaiah James. What is the lady's name? Kiana Williams, and then Haley Jones. Those are like the only 3 players in the development pool that we've seen like actually suit up and maybe play a couple minutes in a game. And it's very confusing because the one-on-one thing is confusing to me because the bracket got updated like at maybe like 9 o'clock, maybe like 8:45 p.m. or something. And they went and put some development pool players in the bracket, but there was also like 3 or 4 spaces not full. So it was kind of like, so like if you could replace those players with development pool players, why didn't you? And it's confusing and I don't understand it. It's one of those things where it's like, am I supposed to have questions? Am I not supposed to have questions? But we don't get answers to our questions, so I don't really know. I really don't know. No shade to them because I like what Unrivaled got going on. But like there's just no hard and fast rules to really anything because somebody did end up asking me about how trades work on Instagram. And so I was like, I'll address it in the episode. And so, I go and start researching and doing some Googling and everything. And the confusing thing is that the first season they kind of alluded to trades being possible. And throughout the season, I kind of mentioned that some teams might be looking to like make a trade. Like if they want to, be competitive, they want to do X, Y, Z, and you'd be looking for a trade. But then everybody and their mama was telling me that, oh, they can't make trades. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that was like not a thing. I was like, I don't recall them saying that. I could have sworn they said like, oh, trades can happen, but they just like didn't last season. So I just chalked it up to the game. And so I just was like, I won't mention it anymore since people said that like they're not happening. But then I woke up like a few days after that and people were talking about, oh, there's a trade. It was a 3-team trade. I went and Googled some things. I did some research. And so I'm going to tell you what I learned during this. I think that like some things they just weren't expecting to happen. So like last year when like players, like a bunch of players got hurt and they had to like, find some people to replace them. That was I'm sure they weren't expecting for so many people to be hurt that we have to like go and fill up a roster. Like the Rose, by the time they got to the playoffs, that was mostly a different team. Okay, that wasn't. They had players on there that had not even played with them for more than 2 games. But I digress. There's no like hard rules for a lot of things in Unrivaled because I think that they're kind of just addressing things as they happen. So on the Unrivaled subreddit, a lot of people's thoughts are, well, if the coach is in control of like everything that's happening to their team, so if they're the ones doing the draft, if they're the ones who are deciding which development pool players are being picked, to come on their like team and play, it would make sense that the coaches are also the ones in charge of the trades, also because these teams don't have like GMs, like it's just the coach making decisions. And so while that is a thought that exists, other people also kind of think that it's just a reshuffling and like an attempt to balance rosters following injury updates, which is actually the response that I got from the Google AI, which I didn't ask Google AI. I had Googled how to unrival trades work, and the little AI overview pops up, no control over that. But there was like, there's no answer. There's articles talking about the trades, but there's nobody really discussing like how the trades go down, why certain players are moved where. But the Google AI was basically talking about how the GM of Unrivaled, there's only one of them. And so in order to keep, is the word parity? I think it's parity. Let me Google it real quick. So in order to like keep the parity and to like keep the competitive nature of the teams, I don't know, I guess they just kind of move around players as they find out like the injury situation. I think that it's also definitely about like what the players want for themselves as well, and this is completely alleged, but Courtney Williams wasn't getting like a bunch of playing time with the vinyl in the back half of like the season. Saniya wasn't getting a lot of playing time on the Hive, and Azurá Stevens also wasn't getting a lot of playing time and honestly had like been seemingly benched. And allegedly, she had discussed that in a Stud Bud stream that she doesn't really like, play, so she doesn't know XYZ, something like that. There's a clip out there somewhere I'm sure you can find. But that's what I heard, and y'all know I keep my ear to the street. So to me, these are kind of just like 3 players who maybe weren't being utilized, and so they got moved to teams that needed their services. Okay, now let's discuss the trades. Courtney Williams is going from the vinyl to the breeze. A lot of people have been ready to blow a gasket about that situation, talking about, oh, this isn't gonna work. Courtney, why we get Courtney? I don't know. Again, revisionist history. I'm not saying that Courtney Williams is like the most efficient player in the world, but like she's not a terrible player to have on the roster. Like Courtney is not a bum. She was an all-star last year. Like, what are we talking about? I'm not saying that she's the greatest point guard to ever touch the basketball, but you can't deny that the Breeze struggle to facilitate and to like just even get their offense flowing well without Paige on the floor. Like, and we have to acknowledge that Paige is playing way too many minutes for this to be a sustainable team and for them to win. So I think that Courtney coming in here and being able to release some pressure off Paige is great. I also think that Courtney being able to maybe like facilitate for Paige, set some stuff up for her, have her play off ball is going to be great. I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know. I think that people just don't really like Courtney like that, or like, they let other people's like opinions like cloud their judgment on the game. But Courtney joining this team is not at all a terrible thing in my mind. I think she's going to be fine. Paige needs to rest. They need another facilitator. And who can take care of the ball at that. And I think that this is a great trade. It's very much beneficial to everybody involved. The vinyl gets Saniya. Courtney gets to go to the breeze. To me, I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased. Y'all gonna stop doing too much. Y'all gonna stop doing a little too much on Courtney. Anyways, then we have Saniya going from the Hive to the vinyl. I think this is a great move just because I've personally been advocating for Saniya for quite some time. I think she's a great player, plays hard on both ends of the floor, offers a lot of energy. But also, I think a lot of people have also mentioned this as well. Saniya going to a team that is defensive minded, I think it's going to be really great for her. The Hive are just, they're all about, well, we need to move pace, which is fine. But I don't really know if I believe that is like the best scenario for Saniya. But I also felt that she just wasn't being used enough. I think that she has like the opportunity and is the type of player who can be impactful when she's on the floor, when she's given the opportunity. And I think, Coach Weatherspoon is going to be great. And honestly, when I watched her play the other night, I felt like she fit in really well. I also felt like she should have been in the game for the final minutes. Like, they needed a defensive stop. And not to say that Rae Burrell isn't like a good defender, but I don't think that she's a better defender than Saniya. And I definitely think that Saniya would have been able to keep up with Kelsey Plum a little bit better. But hey, we'll see how it shakes out. But the Vinyl are obviously, I think they're going to the playoffs. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they are, I think. I haven't looked at like the playoff seeding thing, but I'm pretty sure the only people who aren't going are the Owls and the Hive. And that's not rocket science. But I'm interested to see how the Vinyls show up, just because last year their team went to the finals. But I don't really know if I think I see that for them this year. So we'll see what happens. Then we have Azurá Stevens going from the Rose to the Hive. I think this is a great pickup. The Hive need another big. I don't really know what the Rose are doing. Apparently, they're going to be announcing whoever, their 5th player or 6th player. I don't remember how many it is, but they're going to be announcing whatever number player is going to be joining them. A lot of people are speculating that maybe it's Angel coming to play. And, a lot of people have opinions about that. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think this is a good pickup for the Hive. Not that it really matters now, because they're not doing a damn thing in my mind either. Like, I don't see it. I think Azurá's a great player. I don't think that she can fundamentally change this team and make it more winning-esque. Yeah. The Hive have some other things to address besides just not having a big. And so that's why I'm going to leave that. So now on to our team analysis. We'll start with the Vinyl. I like the new look. I think that the Vinyl are a decent team in theory, but it's just, something's not right. Something's not clicking. Theoretically, they should be like middle of the pack in my mind, but I think all the teams ahead of them are just more consistent, more reliable on the offensive end. The Vinyl definitely, like, they make it tough for their opponents, but they're just not better than the teams ahead of them as of right now. And so I guess we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm not really sold on this team going back to the finals. But I guess we'll see. Okay, I'm perfectly fine with being wrong. I think Rae Burrell, she is like making a name for herself, but just it's not always super consistent. Sometimes the decision making, like when you watch her play, whether it's like certain shots or whether it's just like, I'm sorry, I really just can't get past the play versus the Phantom on Monday night where Kelsey she took the bait, she took the pump fake, and she just got cooked. She has some things to work on. This is about developing and everything. And again, you see those flashes of her, those flashes of like, oh, if she can do that consistently, that's a good player right there. Potentially an all-star. But she's not there yet. So we'll see what happens. But again, it is one of those things where it's like, it's kind of getting to the point where it's like now or never. You know what I'm saying? But I guess we'll see what happens. Who else is on the Vinyl? Ryan Howard and them. Ryan, I really have liked the facilitating. I like that a lot from her. It's just, I don't know. Something about the team feels off to me, and I think that the other teams ahead of them are just better. So I don't personally see the Vinyl making it out the first round. But that's just me. I'm just a girl who talks about basketball in her room. What do I know? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, then we have the Rose. The Rose have been absolute ass, okay? And I'm no shade. No shade, because at the end of the day, I can't go out there and run up and down the court. You know what I'm saying? But the Rose have just been playing some abysmal hoops. And there's a part of me that and this is the conspiracy theorist in me, there's a part of me that's like, if Angel does come back, what if they were low-key tanking trying to look bad so they can get a good player to come play for them. I don't know. Somebody needs to suss that out. But the Rose, Chelsea is playing fine. I think that people have done a lot on Kalia Copper. Like, I don't think it's Ka's fault that they've been losing games. At the end of the day, I think this comes down to, like, honestly, they have some poor defensive possessions. Sometimes they take a lot of ill-advised shots. And then the other night when they played, who'd they play? They played the Phantom, I think. Did they play the Phantom? They did. The Vinyl played the Phantom. Listen, I don't remember who the Rose played last night. Was it the Mist? I don't recall. But what I do know is that, like, sometimes their shots just don't fall. Okay? And it just looks awful. You look at the stats and you're like, oh my God. You watch the game and you're like, oh my God, it's even worse than what I saw on the stat sheet. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't. If Chelsea doesn't have a 30-point game, they're cooked. Like that's just the end of it. Because as soon as Chelsea stopped having them 33-point games, they stopped winning. Okay? There's something going on there. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I don't think that it doesn't help that you have like a player or two that kind of just like, they don't give you anything offensively. So then it's like, can we really rest people who are giving us something on the offensive end? I don't know. The Rose have some things to figure out, but they are the defending champions. So it's one of those things where it's like, you can't count them out, but it's also like, I don't know if you can 100% count them in. And that's why I be dragging my feet regularly on supporting them. I also I don't know. I watch that games. I don't be excited to watch Rose games. I don't know. Shakira is out there. You know, she got the team on her back. She's putting up 30, upper 20s and lower 30 type games. And it looks good and stuff, but they're losing games. So it doesn't even matter. I don't know, girl. We'll figure it out, though, I'm sure. Anyways, the Mist. The Mist are such a sneak team to me. I really feel like the Phantom are probably going to win, like, the championship this year. But I feel like the Mist are just so, like, when they have good games, they have good games. Like, they're good at stringing those good games together and creating, like, a good body of work. Whereas I think that some other teams kind of struggle with putting together a consistent like winning type of like situation. With the Mist, I love everything about it. You know, they go out there and they don't always settle for threes, which I really appreciate and enjoy. They have long players. Like they have Lee, they got Atlanta, they got Breanna. This team is just like honestly like almost perfectly constructed. Veronica Burton gives her all on defense. She can also go out there and give you some stuff offensively. I think she had like 16 points or something like that. 6 assists, 3 rebounds, something like that. So I might have got the numbers flipped on the assist and rebounds, but she had a really great game. Breanna Stewart looks great. Like she's healthy and you can tell. Enrique is playing with a lot of confidence. I just like the team. They look great. Anytime I watch them, I'm like, this is a team. And even when like they aren't playing that well, they're never like getting blown out. They're still making it hard on their opponent. They're still like actively trying and they're still in the games. A lot of the games they've lost have been really close. So I think the Mist are going to be like, I'm excited to see Mist versus Phantom if that ends up being like the final situation. But those have easily been like the best two teams to me. Like the Laces are fine. I don't really like the Laces, which is why I'm gonna be talking about them last. But I also don't really like the Hive. The Hive too high on this list. But anyways, I just put them randomly in order. Anyways, love the Mist. Keep doing what you do. Rooting for them in the playoffs. For the Hive, another team that's just been atrocious. I just you try to be. I'm trying to be kind. I'm trying real hard. I really don't think it's on the players. I'm trying to give the coach some leniency. It's just the team has kind of just looked fairly bad the entirety of the season. And I will say over the past like 2 or 3 games, they've always had like an element of grit. But again, it is like underutilizing players. It's like not really like the game plan, not really like matching with like the situation that's in front of you. But I will say like she's kind of cleaned it up. a little bit lately, but they're still not winning games. Like the games are closer, but it's still not. So I'm hoping that they go back to the drawing board. I hope that maybe next year, that draft looks different. I hope that team looks very different. And hopefully this is like used as a learning experience if she is returning next year. But I think Azurá is going to be a great pickup. I just don't know if I think they have enough time to really like come back and attempt to compete for something. Anyways, then we have the Breeze. Y'all know I love the Breeze. I don't know. I don't know what they got going on. The game versus the Hive the other day, like I said, Kate had a really great game. She really came up big. Paige always plays well. I think Courtney adding, another facilitator is going to be great. You can rest Paige some, play her off ball, on ball, whatever needs to happen there. But it's going to be great. It's going to be good. And I'm excited to see the Breeze now. I felt like they were going to be in the playoffs, obviously. But now I kind of feel a little bit more comfortable with them having like somewhat of a vet leader on the team. And at the end of the day, Courtney's just somebody who can go out there and, she can give energy on both ends of the floor, get defensive stops. I think it's going to be really fun. And I think they're definitely going to be, that's my wild card a little bit for like a championship. That's my wild card. Yes, they're young and they do be making mistakes sometimes. But at the end of the day, like, that's a team that goes out there and they play hard and they play the right way every time. So I'm excited to see it. And also, I won't lie, I'm kind of excited to see what Courtney kind of can pick up from Paige a little bit on like just like the staying poised and like calming down the team. I think that that's like one of the things that I really enjoy Courtney's game for what it is. But if there was something that I felt like I would love for her to do better when it comes to playing the point, running the point or whatever for the Lynx, I would really like to see her, kind of like take a second, take a breather, calm some things down. Don't always be so go, go, go. Like sometimes take a step back, let the game come to you a little bit. So I'm excited for that. Then we have the Owls. They've been terrible all season. All season. They won that game in Philly and we give them their props for that. But at the end of the day, poorly constructed roster. Yeah, that's really it. It's just a poorly constructed roster. And then, nobody really wants to trade with you because there's no trade in my mind where like the three pieces that you need to get rid of, that where they help create a competitive flow for some other team. So the Owls are just gonna have to be trashed this season, and that's okay. Sometimes you have an off season. I hope like next year the roster looks a little bit better than this, because I think just having, again, like I've said it before, having 3 players on the team where like a lot of times they're virtually unplayable, it's definitely not helpful. It's definitely not. Anyways, then we have the Phantom. Love the Phantom. They look great. I feel like, Kelsey Plum and Aaliyah Boston, Tiffany Hayes, Natasha Cloud, Kiki, they're great and everything. Like KP and AB, what they've been able to do together in that 2-man game. And then, everybody else is coming in and playing some great defense, obviously contributing offensively when needed, but those two being the anchors of the team, I feel like that's going to be a very tough team to beat. And again, that's why I think it's going to end up, Phantom are going to be in the finals in my mind, unless something just goes completely wrong like it did versus the Owls. I think the Phantom are a beatable team, but I think that, again, they're a team that's stacking wins and they're stringing together like some really great stuff. Okay, so I think the Phantom are going to do great, amazing. They're going to go far, I hope. And, I wouldn't be mad at them if they won a championship. Lastly, we have the Laces. I don't really like this team. I think Jordan Canada's out for the season. I don't really know, though. It hasn't been, I don't know if it's been announced or anything, but she's definitely been out and on the injury report for a while. I didn't see the game where she was injured, but I hope that, she's doing well. She's not in the one-on-one tournament, which is why I'm assuming she's injured. I haven't seen the Laces play in a minute. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like watching the Laces. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not fun basketball to me. Ever since the whole thing happened with the Breeze, I just been off that. I never really liked the Laces last year either, honestly. So, we'll see what happens, but I don't know.
I fell asleep editing the episode, but I wanted to come on here briefly before I upload to say the rumors are true. Angel Reese has returned to the Rose. The team trashed without her, so I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know.
We'll see what happens. Anyways, thanks guys so much for listening, watching the episode. I really appreciate you. I'll be back, next week, hopefully on Thursday, maybe. We'll see what happens. I'll try my best to be here though. Anyways, again, if you guys listen, I appreciate you so much. I'll be back next week. Please get in the comments, share your thoughts, opinions, like, subscribe. I hope so badly that my bracket is correct, okay? I don't know what you get for a winning bracket, but I want it. Okay, I'm gonna see y'all. Bye.